Om Vang me manasi pratishthitam Manu me vangachi pratishthitam Abir abirma yedhi Vedasya manistaham Shrutang me ma prahasir Anena vaditena Auratram samdadami Ritam vadishyami Satyam vadishyami Tanmama bhatu Tad bhaktaram abhatu Abhatu mam Abhatu bhaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace mantra from the Rig Veda. May my speech be one with my mind, and may my mind be one with my speech. O thou self-luminous Brahman, remove the veil of ignorance from before me, that I may behold thy light. Do thou reveal to me the spirit of the scriptures. May the truth of the scriptures be ever present to me. May I seek day and night to realize what I learned from the sages. May I speak the truth of Brahman. May I speak the truth. May it protect me. May it protect my teacher. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto all. This morning our subject is Stories of Vedanta Monks, part 15. It is a series of talk based on a book which I worked, Prachin Sadhudev Katha, Stories of the Old Monks of the Ramakrishna Order. These monks are the second generation monks. Sri Ramakrishna source, his disciples, first generation, his disciples. And we are the third generation. So whatever we could gather from them, that I try to record. It is a very interesting subject. Their lives tell us what is a spiritual life, how to realize God, how to attain peace and bliss in this life. Human life is very precious, but we misuse it. We understand it when we are old. We do not find fulfillment in life, then we lament. What a great loss. Swami Vivekananda was the guest in Boston, a Unitarian minister's home. So the minister's son had a birthday, and Swami Vivekananda wrote on that birthday book, Balyavayasi tat kurjat jena mutro sukhi bhavet. That one sentence in Sanskrit. Do such thing in your early life that will make you happy in old age as well as in the next life. Life is very, very precious. Even Shankara, the great teacher of Vedanta, mentioned these three things are rare in Durlabham trame vaita devanugrahetukam manushyatam mumukshyatam mahapurusha sankshaya. Human birth is very precious. Second, a desire for liberation. Third, to the company of a great soul. If you have these three, remember that your life is blessed. Human life, desire for liberation, and the company of a great soul. Swamiji was telling to him that, I have all these three. I think I am a real human being, and I have desire for liberation, and I had the company of Ramakrishna. Still I have no peace. Swamiji was a great soul. Sometimes we check ourselves. We do not have really clear concept about spiritual life. In the Gita, Krishna mentioned, do you know what is spiritual life? Madhbhavam agota, mat sadharmam agota. You must have to attain my nature, divine nature. That is called spiritual life. Bhava, my divine qualities. Sadharma, my very true nature. If you have this, then you have a spiritual life. Now let us see what is that nature. The God's nature is Satchidananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. That is God's nature. These three aspects manifest three powers. Chandini Shakti, Sambit Shakti, Alladini Shakti. Those things are inside you, inside all of us. Chandini Shakti means the power of action. Sambit Shakti, power of knowledge. Alladini Shakti, power of bliss. Let me explain this power to you. You see electricity. You do not see electricity. But you see the manifestation of electricity. Light, fan, computer, so many things. Without electricity, we cannot function. But you do not see the electricity. So this Atman, pure consciousness, we do not see. But we see the manifestation of that consciousness. This consciousness manifests in the body. That is called Chandini Shakti. Body-mind organism. Your body acts. Your sense organs functions because of that consciousness behind. If there is no consciousness, you are dead. I am dead. But you do not see the consciousness. That is called Chandini Shakti. With that Shakti, you act. Without body, without sense organs, you cannot function. That Shakti should be manifested. Karma Shakti, power of action, power of creativity. Second, Sambit Shakti, power of knowledge that comes in the buddhi, in the intellect. Very interesting, this power of knowledge. With that knowledge, we function. Then Alladini Shakti. It may also call Ichha Shakti, power of will, bliss. Human life is meaningless if there is no joy. Without joy, without bliss, human life is meaningless. That bliss comes from Brahman, from God. So we find three powers. Kriya Shakti comes in the body and mind and the senses. Ichha Shakti comes through the mind. And Jnana Shakti comes through the intellect. This Shakti, this power, is a great mystery to all of us. It is the power of Brahman, the sun, moon rise and show light. The wind blows. These human beings function because that Shakti, that power behind. The more you connect yourself, Shakti, energy, the more you will be spiritual. How to awaken the Shakti? Some people say, I have awakening. What is that awakening? That awakening is the manifestation of the Shakti, this power of Brahman. For that reason, you practice spiritual disciplines. The more you practice, the more it manifests. That is called spiritual life. Now what about this individual soul? This individual soul, Krishna says, Mamai Bangsho Jiva Bhuta. All these individual beings you see, they are my part. We are all parts of God. You see, God is always attracting us. And we are also attracting God. Those who are heavy laden, come unto me, I shall give you peace. Look what Jesus is attracting, calling us. Devotees are also calling God. We feel natural attraction. Because God is divine, my Atman, my individual self, that is also divine. What is our problem? Problem, we built a wall. There is a wall between God and ourselves. That wall is called Maya. Tell us what is Maya. You know very well who takes away your mind from God. Sri Ramakrishna repeatedly said, Kaminikanchani Maya, lust and greed, these two things mainly take away your minds from God. The more you can get rid of this lust and greed, the more you will be spiritual. The more the light will manifest within you. One of the teachers told us, life, light and love, these three things are together. Human life. And that life must be luminous, and that life should be full of love. Otherwise, life is meaningful. Nobody loves you, you do not love anybody. You are just like a wall, a piece of wood, dead wood. So buddhi, intellect, must be luminous. Your heart should be full of love. Then human life functions well. Otherwise, meaningless. Life is meaningless. Which is very, very interesting that you know. At the same time, you will have to understand, if you live by yourself, you are selfish. Selfishness never makes a person happy. Perhaps you will see in the, now it is the Christmas season, parents are taking their children to the shopping mall to buy some Christmas gifts for them. Watch your mother's face. When she buys a very nice thing, perhaps she does not have sufficient money, took the children in the shopping mall, bought something which their children like. Seeing the smiling face of the children, mother's face is also happy, luminous face. My children are happy. That is called love. If my mother says, I shall not take my children to the for shopping, I shall enjoy myself, that mother is selfish. she does not enjoy life. That is the reason. If you really want to lead a good spiritual life, your life should be balanced. You must strive for own liberation and you must serve others. You must do good to humanity. That will destroy your selfishness. That is called spiritual life. Anyhow, now I shall tell you the stories of the Swamis. I met Swami Shantananda from 1884 to 1974. Most probably in 1954-55, I was in college. So I went to a monastery, Udbodhan, in Calcutta. And I wanted to bow down this old sadhu. I heard about him. He was a disciple of Holy Mother. The moment I went near him, he said, "Bow down from a distance, don't come near me." I was a little puzzled. I have never heard the other monks never said that, but this monk told me this. Later on I heard that he had tuberculosis, just released from the hospital. He does not want that I should come close to him and get some kind of contamination, So anyhow, that was the first time I met him. Of course, later on, he was cured from tuberculosis. When he was detected, his disease, he was in Benares. And he was isolated in a room. And nobody told him that he had tuberculosis. So he had an attendant, Swami Sridharananda, who is now in Australia. He took him to Shimla. There is a TB sanatorium. And seeing the sign of that hospital, he came to know that he had tuberculosis. So he was praying. He remembered what Holy Mother told him. If there is any crisis in your life, you just pray to me and ask me, what is the solution? You isolate yourself from others. Eat a small quantity. Practice japa and meditation and prayer. With deep faith and love and sincerity, call on me. If you see that you are not getting my response, that means your mind has not risen the level where I am. Don't give up hope. Have patience. Pray. So he did, and at that time, don't tell anybody that what you are doing. And talk as little as possible. So, after 3 days, Holy Mother appeared before him. "My son, what do you want?" "Mother, I may die. That is fine. But this young man is serving me. He should not get tuberculosis." You see, in 40s, there is no medicine. The medicine of tuberculosis came in 1950s, streptomycin and other medicines. Anyhow, so he was praying, and Mother said that will be fine. Just see how to get command from the Mother. This Swami, through his life, taught us. I remember when I was coming to this country in 1971, I was in Hollywood. I went to his room to have his blessing. So I bowed down, and his attendant introduced me to him. He knew me. So 15 minutes I sat in his room, then he said, "Jop karo." Repeat God's name, mantra. Then and again another 15 minutes I sat. Silence was their message. If you sit near him, your mind will stop. They create such a spiritual atmosphere. I asked one Swami, when I sit for meditation, my mind is so restless, runs around. Then the Swami said, look at that Swami. The moment he sits, he merges. He does not struggle. Do you know why? Because his mind is pure, free from desires and doubts. That is the whole secret in spiritual life. Next Swami, Abhayananda. 1890 to 1989. I was very close to him from the very joining. He was a great karma yogi. He was in Mayavati, in the Himalayas. And during the Second World War, there was a scarcity of paper. And in Mayavati, we have the editorial department of the Prabuddha Bharata, and we used to print magazine there. We had no paper. And that magazine was started by Swami Vivekananda in 1898. The Swami walked nearly 75 to 80 miles, bought paper from Lucknow. Himalaya, the center is 65 miles interior of the Himalayas, near the Tibetan border. Now it is Chinese border. He put this paper on the back of the mule and brought the paper to the monastery so that Swamiji's magazine should continue. You know, sometimes I think, I'm talking about 1914-15, during the First World War, how these sadhus worked for the ideal, for Vivekananda, for Swamiji. He was the manager of Belur Math. Another thing I must tell you, when Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi's father, was in jail, the Swami used to send books to him. And sitting in jail, he wrote The Discovery of India, Jawaharlal Nehru. It is a famous book. Previously, he was a revolutionary. They wanted to, freedom fighters, they wanted to India free. He will never eat food without feeding all the monks and jabutis in the monastery. In the evening, I saw he was watching the shoes of the jabutis so that nobody should steal it. You go to the temple and shrine and meditate, and I shall watch your shoes. You know, they are great souls, and how they serve people, it is amazing. One day he was telling me, you know, people come from all over the world to our monastery, our headquarters in Belur Math, in Calcutta. I give them food, prasad, but I like to give them some good books so that they can carry the message of Swamiji and Sri Ramakrishna. So I worked on two small books I compiled, Ramakrishna's message by Vivekananda and Swamiji and his message by Sister Nivedita. And those two booklets he used to distribute to the people. I learned how to write a letter from him. When you write a letter, there should not be any emotion. Official letter, you must write facts and figures. Second, after writing the letter, you must verify whether it is true or not. You must stand behind every word. It must be true. Sometimes, we embellish and we write a letter with our emotion. But if we write that letter, we cannot make any decision. I was really amazed at how they taught us. He told me, the causes of our failure are three: lack of sincerity, hypocrisy, and lack of truth. Bhaber ghare churi. theft in the chamber of heart. That means hypocrisy. And try to unite your mind and your speech. That means you must be very truthful. And your sincerity. If you have these three, your life will be full of success. I remember one day, it was so funny. He and other Swami, Nitya Sharupananda, they were seated in his office and they were chatting, and I was there. And Swami Nitya Sharupananda was just teasing the other Swami Abhayananda. You know, Sri Ramakrishna started to eat Farina Pujing from 1886 when he had cancer. And still every night he was serving the Farina Pujing to Sri Ramakrishna. He lost the taste from his taste bud. Please change the menu. Then other Swami says, well, so Sri Ramakrishna is talking this type of thing nowadays with you, correct? Then what should be the menu? Then he mentioned that some of the fancy food in Bangladesh, some fish curry and all those things. And I was laughing how these two Swamis are talking about the Ramakrishna's menu should be changed. The food we offer to the shrine, Very funny. Another thing we noticed about him, Gune Radhur. If you have many qualities, writers, philosophers, when they would come to the monastery, he would respect them, feed them, he evaluate, appreciation is very, very important. As a manager of the monastery, that he was that manager, And he is a man of only few words. Then Swami Nirvanananda from 1890 to 1984. He was also a manager of the Belur Math. He was a disciple and attendant of Swami Brahmananda, the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna. He is the person who sent me to America. He proposed my name, anyhow, for Hollywood. In 1964-65, when I was in training center, each monk will stay in the monastery headquarters for 2 years, training. So I was in the training center, 64-65. In the evening, from 8 to 8:30 or 8:30 to 9, we used to go to his room when there was a offering food in his temple. After evening meditation, we used to go to his room. And he used to tell us various stories of the Jare disciples. One story he told us, I remember. I went to Swami Turiyananda, a disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, and asked him, Maharaj, we left home, parents, family, everybody, but we have not realized God yet. Then Turiyananda said, look, you have come under the Kalpataru tree, wish-fulfilling tree. The fruits are hanging. If you stay under the tree, you will get a fruit one day. But if you want the fruit right now, shake the tree. You will have to shake. Do you know what that means? Self-effort. You will have to make an effort to move on. Otherwise, lying down in bed of roses, you will never realize God. Then he told me another story that when I asked Swami Sharadananda, Swami, you wrote the Sannyas mantra in the Ramakrishna's divine play. Did Sri Ramakrishna tell you that he repeated those mantras to you? No. But Sri Ramakrishna told us that he took sannyasa, monastic vows, according to the Darshanami order, Shankara's order. So if you may take sannyas in that order, you are supposed to repeat these mantras. So that is the reason I put these mantras there. Maharaj wrote me many, many letters. I wrote some of the letters here. He wrote to me that you have gone to the West, take training and learn adjustment, which is extremely important. That when you are Rome, behave like the Romans. You must know American history, American culture, American way of life, which is extremely important. So when I first came to Hollywood, you see, we are born and brought up in British India. Our mother tongue and English language go side by side from the childhood. We are born up with two languages, English and mother tongue. So, but we know English, but we are not familiar with American English, we know British English. So what happened, and Swami Prabhavananda asked one actress to train me how to speak. So she used to come every week. She used to attend my lecture, and what are the mistakes I made, she used to correct. Nearly 2 years that woman trained me. She was also a famous actress. She died from cancer in 1984. I went to see her. Very motherly person. Wonderful woman. Her picture is in my closet. Swami, don't speak fast. Sometimes she used to say that when you become emotional, you speak very fast. I shall tie your ankle with a string, and from the audience I shall pull your leg. That woman told me, I shall pull your leg. I am very grateful to her. Then Swami Omkarananda, 1894 to 1973. That Swami was very remarkable. But he was the embodiment of strength. Physically strong, mentally strong, spiritually strong, intellectually strong. If you sit near him, your weakness, your numbness will go away. He has so much power. So I used to work in a publication department of the Ramakrishna Order. So Sunday was closed. So sometimes we used to go to him. And he was a disciple of Holy Mother, and he was very close to most of the Jari disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. Then he was to say, "Hey boys, sit down. Now I shall make coffee for you." We were several boys, young monks. So he said, "You know, those who are rickshaw pullers, the bullock cart drivers, they drink tea. But those who are philosophers and great thinkers, they drink coffee. Sit down. I shall make coffee for you." Funny. Then he told us, "I am a Calcutta boy. Do you understand? I am born and brought up in Calcutta. If you really want to survive in Calcutta, you must perspire every day. Because you must do exercise. Otherwise it's very difficult. A Calcutta pollution and all of this, you will be sick." He wanted us to do physical exercise. After my training center, I went to him. Before that I shall tell another story. I remember when I was in the monastery in Belur Math, I took a vow that every day without seeing Ramakrishna, I shall not see anybody's face. 2 years, 4 o'clock, shrine. And one day I saw that Swami came with a photographer and taking pictures of Sri Ramakrishna. You see, every day they change the cloth. That before the cloth was put on the Sri Ramakrishna's marble statue, the photographer was taking pictures from different angles. because he decided to build a similar statue in Kankurgachi Jogodhan, where first Sri Ramakrishna's relics was installed. So I was watching these old monks in his late 70s, 80s, came at 2 o'clock, perhaps left Calcutta with a cameraman. He wants Ramakrishna's marble image should be just perfect. You know, if you really want perfection, you will have to work very hard. Very hard. I shall never forget that Swami was instructing how to take the photograph. Then when my training center was over, I went to see him to have his blessing. Then he said, Maharaj, my training is over, I have come to see you. What? Your training is over? Did anybody beat you with shoes? I said, no. Then your training is not over. Your ego is not yet shattered. Still you have ego. What a very powerful person. Sri Ramakrishna says, as long as I live, so long do I learn. Listen, boys. Never think that you know everything. What do you know? Always learn. Keep your heart open. Never close your heart. Wherever you find anything beneficial, uplifting, inspiring, learn. Swamiji was a great learner. That is the reason he was ever fresh. Then I used to teach monks how to chant the Vedas. So the temple dedication of Kankurgachi, Swami invited me, bring your group, chant the Vedas and defeat the Brahmins of Banaras. He wanted, my boys should be great. You see, we need that kind of encouragement, enthusiasm, always positive thinking. You must be great. That is the way we learn from these old sadhus. He told us some stories of Swamiji and Sri Ramakrishna. It was one day, Swamiji was in Balaram's house, in his room, and he was talking to Sri Ramakrishna. I am talking about Sri Ramakrishna died in 1886, another 10 years after. Swamiji was talking, Swamiji was telling, I do not want to hear all those remote things. If you want to work, you will have to work holding my hand. Sri Ramakrishna dedicated Swamiji to the Divine Mother. Toward the end, Swamiji said, I shall not live long. She withdrew her hand, the Divine Mother withdrew her hand from me. My time is very close. Another story he said, Keshav Chandra Sen came to Dakshineshwar and said to Sri Ramakrishna, Master, if you allow me, I want to spread news about you. You are hiding in this Dakshineshwar temple garden. Let me preach your message. Sri Ramakrishna said, don't. The person who is within me, if that person, means Divine Mother, wants to manifest, even the great Himalayan mountain cannot suppress it. You will not have to preach me. The mother, whom mother makes great, that person becomes great. Through advertisement, you cannot make a person great. We used to hear all these great teachings from these old Swamis. I remember, most probably it was early part of May 1971. I want to say goodbye to him because I was coming to Hollywood. So he had heart problem, but he talked to me 2 hours. Then I said, Maharaj, now I go, your disciples are waiting outside to bow down to pay respect to you. No, you sit down. Or those people will come and complain, Swami, we meditate but we get dizziness. That is the complaint they will make. He told in a Bengali in a very funny expression, Maharaj dhyan japto kuri matha boddo ghurai. Which is very difficult to translate. But I practice Japan and meditation, but I get dizziness. That these people will tell me. You sit down. I get joy talking to you. I remember I wrote an article, St. Paul and Swami Vivekananda. I compared in Bengali. Bas, he was mad at me. Why did you compare with St. Paul with Vivekananda? Swamiji was different. St. Paul was like, he mentioned that he used to persecute the Christians. And against his will, he was converted. Anyhow, he told. Then he wrote many letters. Those letters I put it here. This is the manuscript, proof of that book. Next Swami I met, Swami Saswatananda. He was an assistant secretary, 1894 to 1963. This Swami was unusual. I never saw him inside the temple. I never saw him bow down to Sri Ramakrishna. He was a non-dualist. I am the Atman. And great follower of Guru Pada, his philosophy of non-dualism. So one Sunday I went to Belur Math, and my friend, he was in Legate House, south side, in that room. In the middle room, my friend, he was there. So I was talking to him. So he came to his room. You are here today? I said, Maharaj, today is our holiday. Holiday? 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 In spiritual life? In monastic life, holiday? He pounded on holiday. He said, there is no moral holiday. Your one moment's mistake can ruin your entire monastic life. This path is very slippery. You are walking on the sharp edge of a razor. Do not make any mistakes. He pounded on it. Then I just joined, new boy. Then one day I said, Maharaj, how shall we deal with people? Then he said, oh, you have to work with people. Listen, suppose you have been posted in the hospital, you will have to work in the nursing or something. The woman has come, you will have to perhaps nurse that woman. That does not mean you will have to write a love letter to her at night. I was... He's an old monk, I just joined the monastery. That doesn't mean you have to love letter to that girl. They have no reservation. They are very open people. He was behind all the young monks and the training. You see, our training center started in, I think, 1956 or 58. So what happened? We have shortage of workers. So some centers do not want to send their young monks to the training center for 2 years. The work will suffer. But he demanded and he forced every young brahmachari must stay in the training center for 2 years. They made a rule. So he told us that, these householders, they send their children to Ramakrishna Mission. Our educational institutions are very famous. Well, they send to our education institutions so that they can have good education. With good education, they will preserve their family's legacy, heritage. So if you boys, if we do not train you, you will not be able to hold, preserve Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual heritage. Training is extremely important. He pounded on training. Whole human spiritual life based on this training. Go look at the musicians. There is a book there, My Music, My Life by Ravi Shankar. Read his training. That Alauddin Khan, his father-in-law, how trained. 16 hours, 18 hours a day. Training. That will make you perfect, invincible. Wherever you will go, you will get victory. Good training. Then he told, you see Ramakrishna's message, you will have to carry. Then he told a very beautiful story. Here is a Swiss watchmaker. He took a lot of watches and went to Asia, Australia, and everywhere he was distributing watches. People do not know how to use it. So he taught them how to see the watches. But if you wish, you can buy it, or not, you return it to me when I shall come back. So he distributed watches all over Asia and Australia. From Switzerland, he carried all these watches. While returning, he was asking, now, do you want to buy it or return to me? Most people wanted to buy it. They understood the value of the watches. You can see the time. So the Swami said, Sri Ramakrishna's message, this message of Vedanta, distribute. Some people will take it, some people will not take it. That we do. We distribute this universal message of Vedanta and Sri Ramakrishna. It may appeal to you, it may not appeal to you. But this is the absolute truth. Do you know what? If these teachings can transform someone's life, that means it will transform your life also. It is just like a medicine. If it is good for your disease, it will be good for the other person, same disease. That is the way it works. He said that all the gems and jewels are in your safety vault and you do not want to share with anybody. That will not work. You must distribute. I remember I used to go to see him in the hospital. He had a heart problem. He used to tell me, you know, my heart has expanded so much, even the rib cage cannot hold it. I have heart problem. Expansion, enlargement of heart. But it has enlarged. I have so much love for you that it has expanded, I cannot hold it with my rib cage. Very interesting. Sometimes I used to bring his clothes and wash and give him back. One day he was telling me, you know, I do not have any. I saw on his desk in the hospital one picture of Ramakrishna and Holy Mother. So he said, I do not have a picture of Swamiji. Why don't you ask N.C. Das, a famous artist, to give me a picture? So I went to N.C. Das's house in Bowbazar, in central part of Calcutta, and asked him that Swami Saswatananda wants a picture of Swamiji. Of course, I shall carry it tomorrow in the hospital. Swami died. Very great soul. Very loving. Tremendous love for people. Next Swami Ishanananda, 1898 to 1974. I met him most probably in 1953-54 as I was in school and college in Udbodhan, mother's house in North Calcutta. I remember in Holy Mother centenary time, 53-54, I was a volunteer there. he served Holy Mother for 11 years. He was 11 years old, came to the mother and served her. And I still remember he used to give some talk about his reminiscences about the mother in Advaita Ashrama, and I was a person who used to arrange the microphone and the speaker. You know, what a great loss. At that time we did not have that tape recorder, otherwise we could record those teaching, those reminiscences of the mother directly from these direct disciples of the mother. I am very, very grateful to him and indebted to him. He used to carry a footprint of the mother, which he took in 1919 during Holy Mother's lifetime in Koalpada. So what happened? He will carry, wherever there is a board there, he stapled that footprint. And with a red cloth, he will cover it, and wherever he will go, he will carry it. I knew it, and he showed me. And he gave me some relics, mother's hair and some other things. Those things are with me. Then what will happen? So in 1986, I went to India, and I saw that Swami died in 1973. So I saw that picture with the monk. His name was Rohini Maharaj in Benares. So when Mohan Maharaj showed me, I told Maharaj, I knew him in Calcutta. Maharaj, do you remember? You have so much love for me. You used to bring Sandesh and other things. Yes. I was telling him my early days in Calcutta. So I said, Maharaj, I like to have that footprint. Oh, no, you will get it after my death. Oh, Maharaj, when you will die, I shall not be here. And just now you told me that you loved me and now you don't want to give to me. Then he said, all right, you take it. That picture I brought and I put it here in our shrine. Still it is there in our shrine, in the upstairs. On the Sri Ramakrishna's altar, that footprint, we preserved it here. I still remember. Great Swami. Another thing was with him. Original photograph of Holy Mother, which was taken in 1898 November. 1898 November, first photograph was taken of Holy Mother. So that is original picture we got from Sister Nivedita. I told Maharaj, I was then in Calcutta. Maharaj, this picture you will have to give to us. No, that you will do a speech. I told Maharaj, you do not know how precious it is. Then when I convinced him, then he said, well, if your president gives me guarantee, then I shall give to you. So I told our President Swami Buddhanandaji, please give guarantee to the Swami that we shall preserve it in our archives. So Swami says, yes, Maharaj, please give that thing to us. From that photograph, we made a picture that we sell in our bookshop. And that original is still with me here. I brought it to America. 1898 photographs. If you see how clear that original picture is, still now. It has been a little discolored, a yellow color has come, but still it is living. He was with Holy Mother 11 years. So one day I asked him, Maharaj, in my home I have mother, I have few sisters, I have aunts, and so many women in our family. And Holy Mother was also a woman. What is the difference between these women and Holy Mother? He looked at me. I'm talking about it was in 1968, 69. He looked at me and said, have you seen any human beings who is free from desires? That we saw in Holy Mother. She had no desires. Human beings have desires, but God does not have any desire. Desire comes from ignorance. God has no ignorance. Desire. And moreover, Mother was Kaushambi. Do you know what Kaushambi means? Unbroken chastity. She was the Divine Mother. That is the way we saw her. I helped him, his book came out, Matri Sannidhya. I helped him with photographs. Another interesting thing he told us. His name was Baroda. In Bengali, E, that means feminine gender. Baroda, Sharoda, Saraswati, Devi, Durga. E, that means feminine gender. So Baroda, after Baroda, if you say Baroda Sundar, Bharat Kumar, then it will be masculine. If you add another word, then it would be masculine. So this famous novelist, Achinta Sengupta, wrote a book, Sri Sri Sharada Muni, Parama Prakriti Sri Sri Sharada Muni, a Bengali book. He is a famous novelist and great writer. So in that book he wrote that Baroda Namni Ekti Alpabhaska Vidhava, Ballo Vidhava, Maheshwari Jairambachir Giyechhilen. There is a woman named Baroda. She was a young widow, went with Holy Mother to Jairambati, Holy Mother's birthplace. So Baroda Maharaj, he was giving a lecture in Balaram Mandir. So Balaram, Swami, do you know what Swami did? Swami put a veil on his head like this and went to that novelist. Hello, Achinta Babu, I am that young widow Baroda. He apologized, Maharaj, please forgive me. I thought you were a woman. He was a monk. He was so funny. Another Swami I met, Swami Haripremananda, he was also Mother's disciple. I met him in 1959 in Benares. He was my host and guide. The moment I went, hello young man, listen. Wherever you go, you must first know two things. Where is the drinking water and where is the bathroom? That my training started, you know. Because if you are not comfortable, you cannot meditate. So you must know where the bathroom is and where the drinking water. In the monastery, when you come, first check these two things. Very practical, you know. Then he took me to the Shiva Temple in Benares. Indian temple, do you know what is Indian temple? You just stand. You will not have to make any effort. You will be pushed in and pushed out. That is Indian temple. You will be pushed. So I entered, I was pushed, and Maharaj was protecting me so that I can touch the Lord in the image and offer flowers and pour water. He was protecting me. And then we were pushed out. Because a lot of pilgrims are behind you. Then when I came out, he said, don't go away, sit on this marble bench in the corner of the temple, outside temple. Now 15 minutes, close your eyes and meditate. Whatever you have seen inside, that you now think, meditate. You know, I learned how to go and visit a temple and a shrine and see the deity from these old monks. Don't go to the temple and just go away like a pilgrim, like a tourist. No, 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 no. You must, whatever you see, that impression must be deep in your heart. So many things you can learn from these old sadhus. One story is very famous, that he went to Bankura and he was rubbing medicated oil on the Holy Mother's feet, and seeing the Mother's feet he was thinking, she's an old woman, wrinkled skin and sinews and veins all are visible, and people call her Divine Mother. All of a sudden he saw that Mother's feet were changing. It was very well developed, good skin, like a young woman's legs, feet. Then, seeing the change, he looked up and saw that it is Jagadhatri, the Divine Mother. Immediately he fell. Then after some time, Mother said, "Oh Hari, ki holo go, oh my son, get up, get up." He understood who is Holy Mother. She was Divine Mother herself. And there is another Swami, I met him in Advaita Ashrama. He was Dr. Maharaj. He was a homeopathic doctor. He used to treat Holy Mother. So Holy Mother was suffering from dysentery. So he wanted to give a drop of medicine on her tongue. The moment she opened the tongue, he saw the Divine Mother inside. He was nonplussed. He could not do anything. So, "Oh, Vaikuntha, give me medicine." He could not put medicine there. Then he put that medicine in some kind of globules, sugar. They put the medicine. "Mother, I cannot put medicine in your mouth. You take it yourself." He understood who was Holy Mother. And when Holy Mother passed away, from Udbodhan to Baranagar, nearly 3 miles, when the procession went, they carried Holy Mother's body. He was quite tall, and he took an umbrella so that the sun will not fall on Holy Mother's face. The whole procession, 3 miles, several hours, holding the umbrella, protecting the Mother's face. That is called love. Do you feel for others? That feeling is the most important thing in spiritual life. Love. We can learn so many things from the story. I just give you only brief few things I told you. I wrote many, many pages. I just told you in brief some of the highlights of these Swamis, which are very important for our spiritual growth and spiritual life. Thank you. Masatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrittorma amritam gamaya, abirabirma yedhi, rudrajatte dakshinam mukham, tenamam pahi nityam, om shanti shanti shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality, light us through and through, and guide us evermore with thy loving presence. Peace, peace, peace be to all.